So today I want to discuss with you the importance of working hard and smart to earn legitimately and legally. Yes, that is the content of our video today. Sometimes you might move into a house and you keep wondering, why is it that you're fighting with your wife, you're fighting with your husband, you're fighting with your children? That house, there's no peace. And you fail to understand what the problem is. Today, I'm here to share with you, or to open your eyes in one way or another that might be of great importance to you and somebody else watching this video. Now, there is a house just close to where I stay here. Now, recently somebody was giving me this story. It's a very emotional one in one way or another because lives were lost in that building. And so I don't take it for granted that I'm sharing this deep information with you. But the things that people undergo or people go through to put up a business, or maybe these houses that you see in Nairobi, is a lot. It's a lot. There are those people who have raised dark altars in their places where they've placed their businesses or they've built. Some of these houses that you see in Nairobi, before they were here, this was just bare land, and we had other people use this particular land, or not here where I am, well, I don't know, but most of the land were used as burial sites for different people who died, who coming to look for money or wealth or a good life in Nairobi, and they could not afford to be taken back home. So most of the land that you see was English, or the Kiswahili name for it is makaburi. Some people offered their land to be used as a burial site, and after some time, or with the time, you realize that these graves, you know, they got covered in the soil, and the land looked again real and new, and many people came back later and bought these lands and started putting up their structures. After these structures are complete, you realize that people cannot stay in them because of the story that I want to share with you. So there was a time, there's a building just on this upper side, just along my street here. This building stayed vacant for a very long time, and the main reason why this building stayed vacant was because of the things that the tenants were experiencing in their houses. It came to a point where one friend of mine, their family moved into this particular house. So every time they were in this house, issues would just erupt out of nowhere. They were not in peace. Like after a short while, husband and wife are fighting. After a short while, children just wake up in the night crying anyhow. After a short time, food, the food vanishes. Like food vanishes. You cook food, you present it on the table. When you're going to start eating, food vanishes, and you're supposed to stay hungry. They raised complaints to their landlord, who didn't seem to care for some time, until when it became now something that many people were experiencing in their houses. Sometimes you cook food, you wash, you eat, and then you leave utensils on the sink, only to wake up in the morning and realize your utensils are super clean. Like whoever washed them is not anyone from this house, but they were washed by spirits. Sometimes you wake up, find your house is so clean, it has been swept very clean, the floors have been mopped, everything is just on point. Kumbe, it's not any of you who did it, it's the spirits in the house that did it. So this thing became a little bit scary to some people. And these houses were so good, they were so cheap. Getting apartments in Nairobi that are so good, that have big kitchen spaces, big bedrooms and big sitting rooms, is difficult. So when you get one, you don't even want to get out of that house. It's so good. It got to a point where people began getting sick in this building. At some point, you just realize that you don't have enough blood in your body, and you're like, what? I am healthy, like I don't fall sick, nothing happens to me. Why is it that I don't have enough blood in my body? Yet I also eat foods that, you know, encourage the development of blood in the body or in the system. So every week you find somebody in the building being added blood, or how do we call it in English, being done for blood transfusion because they've run out of blood. Where blood was going, I don't know, I can't explain. People got so much worried, and people were beginning to get scared. Let me tell you something. For the landlord to continue keeping people in this house, he lowered the price of the rent even more further, because rumors were starting to fly outside the building, and people were beginning to be notified that that building is haunted. Where I am sorry to say that one day this friend of mine, he lost his uncle in this building. Very sad, very unfortunate. He died because they say they took him to hospital. They tried to run several tests on his body. They tested cancer. They tested is it amoeba, or that one that affects blood depletion. I don't know what is it called. It has an English name. They couldn't find any disease. He was perfectly healthy until the day of his death, when he died while staying on that building. And that is when people became furious. And I don't know what the landlord did. And those, those spirits that were haunting people just left and left and left. Today, that building has so many people staying in it, so many tenants, and they're happy. They're enjoying the services of water, good water, big rooms and spaces, and it is just good. Where sometimes you find yourself in mistakes that you didn't plan for, but it was because of how people made decisions to find shortcuts on ways of getting rich, and it ended up affecting other people. I've remembered another story back at home, just close to a school where I learned. There is a very beautiful homestead. This homestead has no one staying in it. It's one of those homes in my village that were made of permanent, permanent walls, blocks, because it was built in an era where people used to build grass thatched houses, and the rich people would, at least who could afford iron sheets, would actually put up structures made of iron sheet. And then slowly by slowly, people went to semi-permanent houses where the walls were made of a mixture of mud and cement. And then slowly by slowly, people graduated from that point to a point where now they started building permanent houses with very big stones. So this was one of those houses that were actually done what? Were actually built using permanent blocks. And that was a sign that the people from that home were so rich and they were so wealthy, and they were able, because they were able to build such a big house standing on its own compound, well fenced with a barbed wire. And the fence was so good and green, it was trimmed several times. But then the problem, this house, people didn't have peace. That explains why everybody vacated that house, and no one stays in that compound. By the way, it's well maintained. It's the houses are painted almost yearly, but no one stays in that house because of the haunting that takes place in that house. It got to a point where people used to say that that house, the owner of that house, used spiritual forces to put up that house. And in Kenya they call them genie or pepombaya. Genie is the spirits from the sea that people take. We can't see them with our bare eyes, but people have them. If you want to get rich, you take them, place them in a pot, and hide them in one corner of your house. So these genies are supposed to help you make money so fast and so quickly, as long as you're willing to provide blood for them each and every time they are hungry. Sometimes it leads to you making decisions of killing those around you, your loved ones, so that you can feed them. You give them blood. They survive on blood. Without blood, you won't have money, you won't get rich. And people are so hungry for riches. People will do anything to survive or to be rich. So you find this home had genies. And these genies, used to make them wealthy. But it got to a point when these people were tired of, offering blood to these people. There was no other blood to offer. And when it gets to that point, these genies start killing people inside that house. So they will start with maybe the children. Tomorrow they go to the relatives. The following day they go to who? Before they kill the owners of the house, who will be killed last. The owners of the houses are killed last because they are given enough time to continue sourcing for blood, blood bank for these people, or these spirits actually. So today as we speak, that house has nobody, and it's a big house, a very big house, very colorful. It has been painted with very beautiful colors, but no one stays in that house because of the foundation that was set while putting up this house. Anytime you're going to even buy land, my people, there's need to understand the urge to trust upon God in everything that you do. Even here in Nairobi or anywhere, whether Kisumu or Mombasa, any place you're going to buy land that you're going to put up your own business, or maybe you're going to put up your own residential house, make sure you sanctify that land with the blood of Jesus. Call upon men and women of God. Stand on that ground, pray, and break every altar of darkness that could have been planted in that particular land that you are buying. You don't know the reason why they're selling that land. Many people sell things because they want to grow, but also we have that section of people who sell things because they're tired of them, or they have no peace with them, or they just want a better life. So you have to be very careful, even when buying land. Some of these lands that you see, under them, there are skeletons of people who are buried in them. Some of the people who are buried in them were people who were rejected, people who had different problems, maybe people who were murdered. Yes, because maybe somebody left their home to go seek for greener pastures, and in the process they got murdered by thieves, and they were robbed, and they were left to die there. So because no one found them, their bodies and bones got buried in these lands. So their spirits are still active and seeking for revenge in this particular land. So when you come there, you put up your structure, you start wondering, why is it that I cannot sleep every night? Why is it that every night I hear voices? And why is it that I'm the only one who's hearing these voices? Sometimes you get to a point where things don't work for you. It's business, but you don't make money out of the business. You sweat, you cry, you shed tears, you are hopeless because of the things that happened in the background that you never destroyed. Sometimes you move into a house somewhere, maybe in a very poor estate, but this house you have no peace. You try everything that you can do to ensure there's peace in your house, but there's nothing working for you because of individuals who tried to make money so fast or riches so quickly to an extent that they didn't see what the consequences will be in future. So before you do anything, before you make any decision that is going to affect your life and other people, call upon the power of the Lord to come upon that particular place. When you move to a house in Nairobi, pray. Take the first day praying so that the bad spirits of that house to leave. Some of the houses we stay in Nairobi, people died in them and their spirits failed to leave their houses. So their spirits are looking for revenge. They do crazy things on people. Yeah, you sleep in the night, you cover yourself, and then you wake up in the night, you realize somebody has pulled your blanket, and you check your house, you are just alone, and you're like, wait, I covered myself and somebody pulled my blanket. Why? How did that happen? It's the spirits in that house, spirits of revenge, spirits that are bitter. They're bitter and they want to revenge. And if they don't find an avenue of revenging, they will revenge on you. That explains why you need to always anoint your house every time you're putting a foundation. Pray as you move into any new apartment. If you buy land, pray. Call men and women of God. Step on that land and declare. Kill every bad spirit of darkness that might snatch your peace from you. Guys, this video was not to threaten you, it was not to make you feel scared, but I want you to know that there are many things that happen that may make you start blaming your family members that, oh, my family are bewitching me, oh, my family don't like me, oh, my family are doing this for me. Kumbe, it's not even your family, it's not even your relatives, it is just the decision you made that was so hasty. You were in a hurry to move into a house that you don't know how it was built, you don't know the history about it, because when you're going to look for a house, no one will tell you that, you know what, bro, somebody died here 3 months ago. No one will tell you. No one. You will not be told that, you know, that house that you're staying in was previously owned by a witch doctor who used to perform miracles and rituals on people. No one will tell you that. You will not be told that that land that you are buying was once a graveyard for people, and people who are buried in that land were maybe thieves, or they were suffering from the spirit of rejection or poverty. No one will tell you. You just buy land and then you realize the consequences in future. So you have to be very careful, be very smart. Just work hard and work smart so that you can earn out of it legally and legitimately. If you do that, you'll have no problem with people. But if you want easy come, just prepare for easy go. When it comes easy, it will go easily. So be very careful, be very smart. Just work hard. Wake up every morning, go to your job, hustle, save money. And when you have enough money to develop yourself, make the correct choices. This is only possible when you involve the correct people. Pray every day. Even if you're not a believer and you're watching me, there is power in prayer. Pray. And until next time, always work hard and be nice to people. And remember that nothing is impossible. For this is Devance Empire. End of discussion. Ninataka nyumba yangu ijengwe juu yako. Ninataka ndoa yangu baba ijengwe juu yako. Ndoa zilizojengwa juu yako Yawe hazivunjiki kamwe. Nyumba zilizojengwa juu yako Yesu hazivunjiki kamwe. Ninataka Ebeneza niwe wangu. Peace.